Hello and good afternoon to everyone. Today we have our Bridge Foundation presentation, which is a group of companies and legislators from our state who work very hard in getting funding to our schools, not only our school, but other area Christian schools and so forth. So please give them your utmost attention. And at this time, I would like to introduce Natalie Knapp from the Bridge Foundation.
DuBois Central Catholic for welcoming us back to your school today. We're here to announce $54,000 in scholarships to families of North Central Pennsylvania. And we have been back here many times, and it's so nice to be back. It was a beautiful drive up here, and Kelly and I got to see some great fall foliage. It's so nice to be back with so many of our friends that we've worked with for the 10 years that Bridge has been in existence. We help families with tuition scholarships. We are a statewide independent foundation that helps parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles send the children in their life to the best possible school for them. In the last 10 years, we've helped 14,000 families with $25 million in scholarships at 700 schools in 61 of Pennsylvania's 67 counties. So today we are announcing the $54,000 to families here at DuBois Central Catholic and many other local schools, including Saints Cosmos and Damian, Punxsutawney Christian, DuBois Christian, Elk County Catholic, St. Boniface, and St. Leo schools. And I see many of our friends from those schools that have joined us here today. Thank you so much for being here and for hosting us at many of our other check presentations that we've had up in this area for the last decade. Bridge was created 11 years ago through one of the best government programs in the country, Pennsylvania's Educational Improvement Tax Credit Program, or EITC for short. And it's a program that allows Bridge to partner with businesses to bring scholarship checks to families and schools across the state. The EITC has been widely successful, and in 2012, state legislature created an additional component to the EITC program called the OSTC program. Both of those programs have become amazingly popular across the state and across many different lines of business. Our businesses here that are part of today's event have all been participants in the EITC program for many, many years. We couldn't do what we do and bring scholarships without a couple of components. The first is our wonderful business donors who have been part of this program and who make sure each and every year that they are part of this tax credit and are first in line to get these tax credits because they sell out incredibly quickly. Each July 1st, the tax credits become available, and within days, most of the time within hours, the tax credits are gone. That's how popular this program is among the business community and our lawmakers. This program was a landmark program when it was created over a decade ago. It was the first in the nation to partner in this way, the business community, local communities, local schools, parents, and it has taken off, and it has become the program for other states to follow. We couldn't be here without Senator Scarnati, who was part of this program since the very beginning, and Representative Gobler, who is on his way. Your two local lawmakers are incredibly supportive of EITC. And this year, in addition to funding the program, they added an additional $25 million into more scholarships for families here in this area and across Pennsylvania. And as I understand it, those tax dollars were already gone on day one. We couldn't do it without our lawmakers, and we couldn't do it without our business donors. So what I'd like to do now is give our donors and our lawmakers an opportunity to introduce themselves to you, and then I understand that there are questions from the student body, and I know that it's a really nice opportunity to have business executives and your local lawmakers in one room and get the chance to ask some questions. So we're looking forward to hearing what's on your mind and what you'd like to ask. So I'm going to take this microphone panelists to briefly introduce themselves and say a few words about their business, and then pass on to the next person down the line.
Thank you, Natalie. My name is Jim Tricoli, and I represent RBC Capital Markets, and I also am a member on the board of directors of the Bridge Foundation, and I'm one of the founding members. So I've been here many times to the school, and I'm happy to be here with Natalie and Kelly. And my company has been a donor since its inception. We're an investment banking firm headquartered in New York, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
And Natalie, thank you very much for all the kind words. And certainly, my name is Joe Scarnati. I'm the state senator for the 8 counties of the 25th district. I live in Brockway. I'm sure there's a few people in the audience that recognize me. You'll see me in and out of the local sheet store or going into Lowe's occasionally. So I live right here, and this is home. And certainly, I am very pleased, and I want to thank Natalie and the Bridge Foundation and all those here for choosing to do this. This is their choice. The law allows it, but it doesn't require it. And so without these companies, we would not have these dollars to help with scholarships. So greatly appreciate it for their involvement.
Thank you, Senator. My name is Tracy Lawless. I'm with a government relations firm called K&L Gates, and we represent CSX Railroad. And I think a railroad is probably pretty self-explanatory for kids your age. We ship all kinds of goods across the country. When the senator goes to Lowe's, those are the kind of consumers goods you might see on some of our railways.
Hi, I'm Greg Aquaviva with United Healthcare. We are a health insurance company that is privileged to provide health insurance to more than 1 million Pennsylvanians, but more important for today's purposes, really thrilled to be here and to continue our long-term support of the Bridge Educational Foundation.
Hi, I'm Judy Archibald with Waste Management, and as you may know, we're an environmental services company. We specialize in trash and recycling, and are very happy to be here. And one point that Senator Scarnati made that I think is so critical is that this is not required by law. It takes leaders like Senator Scarnati and Representative Godler to take the lead and make sure that this program continues. And so I thank them for that, and I thank you for inviting me and being a part of the program.
Thank you, and we will open up with our first question.
First part's your job.
Okay. Jim, would you like to be the first?
Okay, so I work on Wall Street. So Wall Street's been under siege a little bit lately. So the worst part of my job is dealing with some of the excessive regulation that we've had through the last couple of years. And the second part of it is travel. I actually travel a lot. I live outside of Philadelphia in Villanova. I work in New York, and I fly all around the country. So travel tends to be not the best part. The best part of it is I get to do, believe it or not, events like this. These are the things I like to do because I get to meet different people. It takes me away from the drip of the regular workforce. I get to meet people, work with people like Natalie, Kelly, and Senator Scarnati, and get to see kids like I do today. That's probably the best part.
Well, I guess I would echo that. These kinds of events and talking to school kids like yourselves and learning more about the things you're interested in is always a good day at the office. And really, in my job, we have so many different kinds of clients. We get to do something new and different every day. So that's always exciting. I have to say, working in a law firm, you have to keep track of all your hours. It would be like you going home and saying, I spent 20 minutes on my math homework and 20 minutes on my English homework. That gets to be pretty tedious and I can enjoy that.
Okay.
I think it depends on what your goals are, right? I think it's on how you define your goals. So it can be as big as changing, from my perspective, how healthcare is delivered. It could be trying to work with government to get a bill passed. It could be something much smaller, where a constituent calls up, they're having a problem, and you help them fix that problem. So very much of it is in how you define your goals. But certainly from my perspective, doing government affairs every day, I often find much greater satisfaction in having that constituent's issue be resolved, helping that individual, and receiving their direct feedback. That's often one of the better parts of my job, and one where I feel the most success on any given day.
Please, as President of the Senate.
Thank you. I'm smiling because I just leaned over to Representative Godbar. I said, this question's for you.
A little above my pay grade.
Well, I'll try to be brief, but the position of President Pro Tempore is one that is given to me by the entire Senate. So it's voted on every 2 years. I'm in my 10th year as President Pro Tempore, and it sounds like a great term, great name, President Pro Tempore of the Senate. But actually, it just means the temporary president of the Senate. And in reality, the president of the Senate is a lieutenant governor. But with that said, the duties of the President Pro Tempore are really the business manager of the Senate. People don't realize that somebody has to assign office space, somebody has to assign staff, somebody has to assign parking places, somebody appoints the committees, somebody appoints a committee chairman, somebody assigns the bills to committees. I even, underneath the President Pro Tempore is a chief clerk's office that does all the payroll and all the work in the Senate for the accounting process. Also under the President Pro Tempore is the parliamentarian's office, who during a day of session, if you ever watch, if you're ever bored stiff and want to watch us on PCN, there is somebody called the Secretary Parliamentarian of the Senate, and they stand there and they make sure that everything is done according to the rules of the Senate. And so my responsibilities are very broad in managing the Senate and working both sides of the aisle with Democrats and Republicans on the issues that I just spoke about. So those are clearly, keeps me busy when I'm in Harrisburg, let alone I still need to represent my 8 counties and try to get legislation passed and look out for my constituents here to provide them with the best service I can too.
Ms. Archibald, what are some things that your company does?
Well, as I stated, Waste Management is an environmental services company. The obvious thing they do is they make sure that all of their customers' trash is picked up and environmentally secured. They also, of course, do take care of recycling. And the challenge with recycling falls on each of us and you, and that is making sure that it is done correctly so that the product that is received in a state that it can be reused and ultimately close the loop. They also provide services to companies to help them reduce the amount of waste that they have, because you know yourself in your own home, there's a lot of waste that comes into your house. The packaging, think of the packaging. The small item like this that's wrapped in cardboard and all kinds of things. And so they work with companies on that to help reduce that. And they provide safe disposal or, as I said, new product for recyclers.
But after this year, do you plan to run for re-election?
Great question. I always look at these things 2 years at a time, and certainly in order to consider whether or not I'm running for re-election, I have to consider whether or not I win election in the first place. So, of course, as you know, a few of us on the stage here will be on the ballot in 3 or 4 weeks now, And so certainly that comes first. I got to say, I got a lot of questions that I've got to answer. I've been very blessed 2 years ago to be married to a beautiful wife, and I was very blessed 3 weeks ago to welcome a very beautiful little girl into the world. So whenever you start thinking of things as a family, the first thing that I'm brought to mind of is the idea that if you want to make God laugh, make plans. So I'm going to try to do my best to make plans for the next 6 weeks and go from there. But appreciate it. Thank you. I'll take my best shot. The first advice that I would give any of you sitting in those chairs is to say that a lot of times young people feel like they have to wait their turn. And if every young person out there who had a good idea waited their turn, there would be a lot of good ideas that would go unmade. I had the honor and the pleasure of running for state representative at the age of 24. I was elected at the age of 25. If you think about it, that was only a few short years after I was done sitting in seats just like those, although our seats weren't as packed as yours were, because I was in the old building. So oftentimes there is an intimidation that the young people have. They think, well, maybe adults won't take me seriously, or maybe I won't be able to do this because I have to wait my turn. And so my biggest advice for you is find what motivates you, find what makes you passionate, and then work on becoming good at it. And just because you're a young person in your late teens or in your early 20s, and doesn't mean that you're not able to be really good at something. And one thing that I found is that adults, people that were many years my senior, were willing to listen if I came to them with an idea of something that I had thought about, or if I came to them with something that I thought had value, and was able to present it and to tie in with one of the previous answers that we heard, with confidence. Back to the idea of if you can be confident and be willing to work with others and be willing to do your homework, you can be successful and you don't have to wait your turn. That's my advice. There's Scott.
The practical advice that I want to give all of you with an iPhone and a computer, everything you post on there on social media will be there forever, forever. And before we even interview somebody in the Senate for a job, guess what we do? We look at your Facebook page, your Twitter account, and we look to see what you're saying and doing. And it may sound funny right now, but trust me, you do not want to have a lifetime of maybe funny things you posted, maybe a little crazy stuff posted. It can come back to haunt you. So please, there's still nothing wrong with picking up the phone and calling somebody, or actually speaking to them in person instead of texting, because that's a social skill that you need in life. Because when you're working in an office or working with other people, it's not texting back and forth. You're looking at them eye to eye, and you need to have the ability to do that. And I'm really afraid that we're losing some of that because of all the electronics we have. So, and I tell my own kids this, they don't listen. But hopefully one or two of you in here will listen to me.
On behalf of DuBois Central Catholic, again, thank you very much for your support to the visiting schools. Thank you. We're all very appreciative of the Bridge Foundation. And if I could just say for 1 minute, of course, we all know this bridge was started by Governor Tom Ridge, correct? And I'm sitting here thinking that when Governor Ridge first started his quest for governor of Pennsylvania, at that time I was working for one of his largest supporters in the state, which got me heavily involved in the Ridge campaign. And I'm sitting here thinking that what a great vote that was, because getting him into office years down the road, look what it's done. And thank you, Senator Scarnati and Representative Gaba, for keeping that going for us. And it just helps. It's a crazy world out there right now in politics, but by listening to this, it makes me realize that our politics system is correct, and it does work. So I'm very thankful for everyone for doing everything you can to keep this great program alive. Thank you very much.